Moliy's rise is one of those rare stories in music where everything feels effortless, but nothing actually was. Her sound didn't just appear out of nowhere. It grew from a life shaped by movement, shaped by dual identities, shaped by cultures that blended without force. And that's why today, people around the world are drawn to her music. Because when she sings, you hear freedom, you hear youth, you hear possibility. You hear what Afrobeats is becoming, not just what it has been. Moliy represents the next frontier of Afrofusion, a sound that carries influences from Ghana, from the diaspora, from R&B, from pop, from soul, and from everything she absorbed growing up between Accra and the world. She's part of the new generation that isn't confined by labels. She's a reminder that Afrobeats has evolved so much that it can no longer be defined by just drums, tempo, or party vibes. Instead, it's now defined by the people who pour their spirit into it, and Moliy pours all of hers. Her breakout moment with Sad Girls Love Money wasn't just a viral hit, it was a milestone for the global rise of African women in music. It proved that a soft, airy voice with an alternative edge could dominate a sound traditionally dominated by energetic male vocals. It proved that today's Afrobeats audience wants variety, they want emotion, they want storytelling. And Moliy delivered all of that with style, with color, and with a tone nobody else had. People fell in love with her because she sounds like the future. Her voice floats over beats, it dances instead of punches, it invites instead of commands. It gives Afrobeats a feminine softness that perfectly balances the heavy percussion and energetic rhythms that drive the genre. When her vocals slide into a melody, it feels like warm wind moving through a tropical night. And that's why listeners hit replay. Her sound simply feels different. What makes Moliy even more important is how she represents the rise of women in Afrobeats. For years, the genre was male-dominated, but artists like Moliy, Thames, Ira Star, Tyla, and others have expanded the emotional vocabulary of the sound. They've added color to the culture. They've introduced new rhythms and new energy, and Moliy stands confidently among them, carving out her own lane with her dreamy, celestial style. When you listen to her music, you can tell she grew up around many worlds. There's American R&B in her tone, Ghanaian warmth in her delivery, Caribbean bounce in her flow, and African confidence in her storytelling. That combination is rare. It's why her music travels easily across borders. It's why listeners who don't even understand the lyrics still connect with the mood. It's why she's become a favorite on playlists worldwide. And this is exactly what modern Afrobeats needs. Artists who can help it grow beyond Africa without losing its soul. Moliy does that naturally. Her melodies feel global, but her vibe feels rooted. She carries her culture with pride, but she expresses it in a universal language of rhythm and emotion. She doesn't limit herself to tradition, but she also doesn't abandon where she's from. She's a perfect bridge between the old Afrobeats and the new Afrofusion. Part of what makes her so exciting is the direction her music moves. She doesn't chase trends, she creates her own. She doesn't try to fit into the typical Afrobeats formula, instead she blends genres until they feel like something we haven't heard before. She'll give you sweet vocals over bouncy percussion, R&B chords over log drum patterns, or pop melodies floating over high-life influences. And somehow, everything still feels like Moliy. In many ways, she represents the global listener, someone who belongs to many cultures at once. And because of that, her music resonates deeply with the diaspora. Young Africans in Toronto, London, New York, Lagos, Accra, and beyond feel connected to her because she reflects their experiences. She sings for people who grew up blending cultures, switching accents, mixing playlists, and carrying both home and abroad inside them. She gives a voice to that identity. This is why her fan base keeps growing. People don't just hear her music, they feel understood by it. Her vulnerability, her confidence, her dreamy tone, her soft rebellion, it all merges into a presence that feels refreshing in a loud, competitive industry. She stands out because she's not trying to overpower. She's simply expressing herself, and that authenticity is rare. Another reason Moliy is redefining Afrobeats worldwide is her cultural influence. Every time she releases a song, girls across the diaspora tap into the aesthetic she brings. Soft, colorful, vibrant, feminine, expressive. Her visuals are artistic and creative, showing young African women the freedom to be themselves. She's part of the wave that is changing how African women are viewed on the global stage, not just as performers, but as innovators and trendsetters. And she represents the new Afrobeats business model: independent spirit, global reach, social media fluency, and international collaborations. Artists like her are proving that you don't need to start in Lagos or London to become global. You can rise from anywhere if your sound is real and your identity is clear. And Moliy's identity is crystal. She's the soft but fearless rebel of Afrofusion. Her collaborations also show her power. When she teams up with other artists, whether mainstream or underground, she elevates the track with her vibe. She brings balance, she brings melody, she brings emotion, and she brings a specific energy that's unmistakably hers. Even when she's not the lead artist, the presence of her voice can transform a song instantly. What Moliy symbolizes is bigger than music. She symbolizes evolution. She symbolizes the blending of cultures. She symbolizes the future of African creativity, especially among youth who are constantly shifting between worlds. She's proof that Afrobeats doesn't have one look, one sound, or one direction. It's a universe where new stars can create their own gravity. And in that universe, Moliy is already pulling global attention. As more listeners discover the new wave of Afrofusion driven by women like her, the industry will continue expanding in ways we've never seen before. Her sound is influencing producers. Her tone is inspiring young singers. Her artistry is shaping the next generation of creators. And whether she planned it or not, she has become one of the defining voices of the new Afrobeats era. That's why Moliy is redefining Afrobeats worldwide. Not by force, not by hype, not by controversy, but by simply being herself authentically and consistently. Her music is soft but strong, light but impactful, local but global. And that balance is exactly what the genre needs as it continues expanding across continents. So if you've been paying attention to the new wave of Afrofusion, then you know Moliy isn't just another artist. She's a milestone, she's a turning point, and she's proof that the future of Afrobeats is bright, diverse, and full of voices that sound like nothing we've heard before. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.